Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. Today I got a nice big box from Raging Heroes in France, and it is what I'd like to consider the sequel to their original Blood Tribes release. The first we had were the Furian Blood Tribes in the close combat. Today we have the Furian Archers. This is the All-Stars Command and Troops. So basically this is the full set of 10. Now, if the release for the previous Blood Tribes Warriors were any indication, they all will be available separately, and then they're going to be in 2 5-packs as well, the All-Stars, the Command, and the Troops. So if you are looking for one in particular model, you will be able to get it eventually. If you want them all, you can do it just like I did, or if you want them split up, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we'll leave that to Raging Heroes to figure out. So anyway, without further ado, let us take a look at what is in the box, because I haven't even had a chance to open it. So we are greeted to lots of packing peanuts. And underneath the packing peanuts, I make a huge mess. Yippee! Okay. We have the usual how to clean resin. If you've never read this, you probably should. How to prime it. A little blurb about Raging Heroes themselves, and if we want to be a badass, we have a bunch of bases inside. These look to be 32 millimeters. Grabbing a 32 millimeter Marine, and it's pretty close. Maybe they're 30 millimeter. Closer to 30, it looks like. Okay, they're 30 millimeter bases. Interesting. Okay, now I have to clean up all the mess that I made here with the stupid packing peanuts. Out of the way, folks. And we were greeted to, besides a bunch of 30 millimeter bases that I have not seen before, and I'm not sure who manufactures those, but I am curious, 2 bags. And I'm going to assume that these are the command bags and the troop bags. So we'll start with this bag, because it's the one that I've already opened. So here we have, no, we don't have any names on them. They look to be designed pretty similarly to how the previous Blood Tribe release was. We have kind of a flat body, and then the weapons and the limbs are what give it that 3D sense of depth. Doesn't feel as flat as the others. We have this crazy leaping pose for this archer. We have the one that just fell out of my hands. If we zoom it in a little bit, it might help. I'm not sure how she's supposed to be firing this, but she's got, much like the other Blood Tribe members, the horns and spikes all over her. If we can get, there we go. Almost one piece, so I'm assuming she's got her bow shooting that way. If you have any concerns about the quality of the resin, if you are only familiar with Raging Heroes from their Toughest Girls in the Galaxy Kickstarters, I would like to say, as I've said many times before, that the quality of the resin since those releases has been much smoother and easier to work with. So if that's an issue for you, do not fret. It's much easier and less slimy and much more prone to actually getting primed when you try to do that. So she's got these spikes here, and I don't know where they're going to go. Looks like she's arching her bow upwards to fire. And then we have this complicated looking lady. This one's a little slimy, so if maybe that mold release agent would probably give it a good clean before we actually try to prime it. Got her tactical skull to stand on. So that is one box. Maybe that's the troop box, I'm thinking. They don't look very flamboyant or overtly elaborate, because I know one of them is supposed to have like an eagle or bird of some kind on her shoulders. Okay. She's like this. And it looks like one leg is on the ground. Maybe she's kneeling down to fire upwards. That's what it looks like is going on here. And she's got this leg posed on a rock. Yeah, I think she's supposed to be crouching down and firing upwards. Keep her on that side of the table so I know which set is which. which I'll promptly forget about later and have to review the videos to figure out who's who, but that's okay. And everybody is all tangled up here. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking this is the command set because you have the Sashimono banner carrier ladies like this. See, with a bow. I don't know what kind of analogy these guys would be for a typical Chaos warband since they're completely ranged, you know. They never had Marauder Archers that I can recall. Lots of spikes on that one. That's kind of cool. I'm not sure what this stuff is here. Her other hand, maybe? I honestly don't know. We'll figure it out. Some more spikes. A rock to pose on. And we have a crazy... That leg is really high. That does not look like a comfortable position to pose in. I'm not sure why she's standing like that, but whatever. Okay. Looks like her quiver on the back. I'm noticing that not all of them seem to be carrying quivers, or it's just my imagination, or they're just not very noticeable. She's the first one I've actually noticed a quiver on. No quiver. Okay, here's a quiver. That's 2, so at least some of them are coming to battle prepared. 3. 4. I guess that's a quiver. I don't know what that is. All right, we'll keep rambling on. Here's the bird. I don't know who it goes to. Maybe this lady? I don't even know. I'm going to have to look at the picture on the front because that, I think, is the only way I'm going to attempt to actually know where it lands. So overall, pretty nice quality casts. Not a whole lot of cleanup necessary other than snipping the little bits in between that are connecting these to the resin sprues that they were attached to. And overall, it looks like it's going to be really simple construction. And other than that shiny model right here, probably most of them don't have too much issue with the mold release. And I mean, you should always give resin a good wash anyways. Out of curiosity, here is our model with the back banner. And I was just contemplating to myself, did they go and take the exact same model and repurpose it? And it doesn't actually look like they did. Not at all. At least it looks somewhat different. So that's a good plus. I was afraid that these were going to be really recycled. Some of their sci-fi models, I felt that the poses really got reused a lot. And so it's good to see that they're not completely just, recycling everything all over again for the Blood Tribe Furians as well. So I'm going to take a moment. We'll put all these girls together. We'll take a look at how they are when they are finished and cleaned up, and hopefully see how they stack up to some other models besides my already painted ones. So sit tight. So here in front of us are what I'm guessing are the regular troopers. The only reason I'm guessing that is because they don't have the little banners or extra bling that would possibly designate the command unit. So let's take a look at these models. First of all, I like the fact that they're actually firing their bows for the most part. We have one who looks like she's about to notch up an arrow, but everybody else, as improbable as the angles and positions they may be firing in, I mean, like this lady is, leaping and twisting like she's a Shenyun dancer and firing at the same time. But don't know about you. I can't really do that. It looks neat, though, when it's in focus as well. And I do like the fact that every model actually has a solid connection point for it to attach to the base. That's been a problem before with a lot of Raging Heroes models. You had to really either pin them in there or drill extra holes or support them through the base to get them to actually stand upright. So I do like the fact that they actually are built to stay on their base. So went ahead and built all of them, glued them on because it doesn't look like there's going to be any real challenges to get the paintbrush in those little cracks and crevices. And they do have a nice 3D presence to them, a bit more than the original Blood Tribe close combat models. Like I said earlier, I do like the fact that we don't really have any generic palette swaps with them either. And especially once you put some debris or whatever kind of basing material you like on the base, that'll help support them just as much. Oh, there's her quiver. I was going to say, somewhere somebody, I swear, did not have a quiver, but maybe it's just my imagination. I like the mohawk. She looks cool. Maybe it's her. Ah, nope, it's hidden there by my index finger. So, as I said, these are supposed to be the troops, and then we'll take a look at the command unit. So we have our standard, if you want to call it that. Looking cool. Sadly not firing, but that seems to be the way most command models like to go. We have this lady who's actually trying to grab another arrow from her quiver there. Interesting pose. We have this lady who is absolutely improbably balanced. I don't know how she's doing it. And like, check out her arm. This is like some kind of extreme Rob Liefeld dynamic Youngblood Image Comics circa 1992 posing going on there. That's just extreme. I guess it works. She's probably the biggest miss out of the whole bunch, I think, in my opinion. And then we have this lady. She's the only one I have not glued just because I want to be able to paint her cloak without having too much issue there, as she's supposed to be leaning back and firing up. It works. And then finally we have, I'm guessing this is the leader of the unit because she's featured prominently in the middle of the box art. She's the lady with the hawk. Lady Hawk. Anyway, she's got the bird on her arm there. She's got the most spikes, horns, whatever, out of all the other units. Is she the one that I can't find the quiver on? She might be. I don't see it now. Maybe that's it right there, kind of tucked away. Sometimes, honestly, when I'm looking at these, building them, I can't see the details, and then when I'm looking at it through the camera lens, they kind of pop up. So, how they stack up, right? I'm sure that's what you're all curious. And like I said earlier, they may not have any analogy in, what's it called, Age of Sigmar. I'm sure you guys could find uses for them. So grabbing some of the other Furians that I actually have painted. I do have the entire unit of the Blood Tribes painted, but I just happen to have these two handy. You can see they fit right in. Obviously, they'll look better when they're painted. I like this lady. And grabbing a couple other models, I do have some other Raging Heroes models here, so we can see. They are, I'd say, a little bit bigger. Obviously, this is one of their sister All-Stars that they've done a couple of variations on. This is one of the, oh gosh, I don't even know what these ones are called now. Redeemers or something? Sisters of the Eternal Rose? I'm not sure. They're more like the Space Marine types, but then they have the actual Space Marine types that they made as well, which I don't have. I have some of the fantasy ones, and they're half painted, and I'll have to finish them off, and since we're stuck at home these days, we'll have to get that done. So you grabbing a couple other models. Like I said before when we did the Furians, I thought the first thing that I thought of was throw them in with the other not Blood Tribes, the Untamed Beasts from Warcry, but they don't actually have any archers that I can think of, do they? Well, not yet, at least. So that's a possibility. You might be able to use them there eventually, or as some other warband. Grabbing some other Age of Sigmar models. Again, if you're worried, I'm kind of surprised. I thought the Dark Oath Queen was always a little bit on the big side, but she fits in perfectly with these ladies. Our Inquisitor friend here, Witch Hunter dude, a little bit smaller, and honestly, they don't look that out of place standing next to the Stormcast Eternals, so interesting. Let's grab one of the troops that's actually on the ground. That might help. How about a Mantic model? So a modern Mantic model. They're still a little bit shorter. Grabbed an Artisan Guild Amazon here. And they scale pretty nicely, actually. So if that's something that you want to do, an Artisan Guild tends to aim more along those 32mm lines there. So that's something to keep in mind. One of the things we have laying around, I got some Conquest models, if you're curious about that. If you want to go with the Savage Barbarians instead of the Boring 100 Kingdoms, they actually fit in pretty decently. They're not overtly tiny compared to them. So, yeah. Possibilities? Perhaps. Might be an interesting unit instead of the Stalkers if you wanted to use them for the Nords. Their weird Wolfen style proportions. Privateer model. About the same. Did I grab everybody and everything that I have handy? Other than a Space Marine. I don't know why Space Marines be hanging out with them. But yeah, I mean, overall, they really seem like they are well adapted to fitting in with just about any current tabletop models. Here we go. Some Shield Wolf Sisters. How about that? And a Frostgrave Barbarian, perhaps? Yeah. Frostgrave, unfortunately, as much as I enjoy you, you are a little bit on the smaller side. And at least the Shield Wolf model actually is kind of a little bit smaller than these girls, which is somewhat surprising. But, you know, not a huge deal. I don't know where any of my Shield Maidens are. Those might be a better comparison. Those were a little bit bigger, I thought. So there you have it. As I said earlier, all of these models are available individually, I believe, or at least in packs of 5 or in any other kind of crazy combination you want to come up with, because Raging Heroes is pretty good about that. I don't know about the pricing, because they are pretty good about giving you a bit of a better deal the more you buy. If you're not looking to buy a ton of them, then I can't really help with that. But cleanup was minimal. Construction was quick and simple. And they look like they're going to be a pretty nice, easy bunch to paint up. So I'm quite happy with them. And hopefully, they're right up your guys' alley too. With that said, this is Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.